With one final skull, Hijikata turned back to the battlefield and took off across it. He ran through the hail of bullets and fell upon the men defending the gate like a vengeful god. Yeah, I'll just let them do that. His beloved sword, the Izumi no Kami Kaneshira, dripped with fresh blood, but he swung it again and again, oblivious or uncaring. I hid myself in the shadows and watched.
Hijikata-san! あと少しで城門を崩せそうです。
Hijikata, just a little more, and we might be able to take this gate. Shimada's face was smeared with dirt and blood as he ran up toward the commander.
おお、頼んだぜ。信用してるからな、Shimada.
Great, keep it up. I believe in you, Shimada. The guards fired desperately, but as Hijikata had said, their guns are old and inaccurate. Attacking men with guns head-on was a frightening prospect, but Hijikata seemed to be utterly unconcerned as he dodged and wove through them, his sword ending lives with each stroke. As a fury, he wasn't likely to die from a gunshot wound unless it struck a vital organ, and he healed so quickly that bullets were largely a temporary discomfort. Still, even if he had only been human, I didn't doubt that he would have run into that hail of bullets just as fearlessly. His hair hadn't gone white yet, and it was still afternoon. It should have been difficult for him to even stand, but to watch him fight, you would never have known. Amazing!
あの人は本当に人間なのか？地獄から這い上がってきた鬼なんじゃねえのか？
Is he even human? He looks like a demon straight from hell. The mood among the men watching Hijikata fight began to change. None of them had likely ever seen a man fight so fearlessly in the face of gunfire, or even at all. His eyes glowed out from his blood-drenched face, and his arm never slowed.
おい、お前たち! そろそろ敵兵の弾もつき始めたようだぜ。気合い入れ直せよ!
Come on, men. It looks like they're running out of bullets. And how about you grow a pair and get over here? He took a moment to roar over his shoulder before turning back to the important task of killing guards. His fearless charge seemed to have had an effect.
この戦、もしかしたら勝てるんじゃねえか?
I think we might be able to do it. I think we might be able to win this fight.
そうだ。勝てるかもしれねえぞ。新選組に土方さんに続け!
Yeah, you're right. We might be able to do it. Just follow the Shinsengumi. No, follow Hijikata. As the morale rose, so did their determination, and the fighting along the gate grew more intense. Then, just after the sun had passed its zenith,
開いた! 城の大門が開いたぞ!
It's opening! The castle gate is opening!
勝った?俺たちが勝ったのか?
Did we do it? Did we win? The news spread along the line like wildfire.
思ったより手間取ったが、ま、予想通りだな。
It took a little longer than I thought, but, well, no guess, this is just about right. At last relaxed, I saw a grin of victory on his face.
副長の采配、お見事でしたよ。弾の嵐の中を突っ切っていく姿は、まさに武士の鏡でした。
That was amazing, Commander. You really are a true samurai. Watching you run straight into those bullets, I'm in awe.
おだてたって何も出ねえよ。
Kissing my ass isn't gonna get you anywhere, guy.
それに、まだ城が落ちたわけじゃねえ。気を引き締めてかからねえとな。
Besides, the castle hasn't really fallen. Can't let our guard down. Right. Huh? Before I realized, the soldiers who had been so reluctant to fight not so long ago had surrounded us, all of them speaking to one another in excited murmurs.
土方さん、素晴らしい戦いぶりでした。まさに源義経が蘇ったかのようで、さすが新選組の副長です。
Sir, that was amazing. It was like you were Yoshitsune, Minamoto, reborn. You were truly the commander of the Shinsengumi.
我々はあなた方を誤解していました。申し訳ございません。
We had you all wrong, sir. We're so sorry.
離脱しようとしていた兵士を切ったのは我々を勝利に導くため。これ以上の脱退者を 出さないためだったのですね。
You only killed that man so you could lead us to victory. You did it to ensure none of us would leave.
あなたの下で戦えることを誇りに思います。あなた方こそ本物の武士だ。
Sir, it's an honor to fight under you. You are a true samurai. The curiosity and awe that we'd seen on their face when we first met was gone now, replaced with respect and adulation.
これは一体どういうことなんでしょう。
What's gotten into them? They found a new head honcho to bow to. Now that the battle was over, Hijikata was beginning to look a little ill, and his mood was souring with his health. Are you alright? He pushed himself so hard and during daylight hours that his body had likely reached its limit. Besides, he'd been showered with who knew how much blood. The bloodlust might start up at any moment. It seemed that only sheer force of will kept him standing.
大丈夫に決まってんだろう。城を落とすまでは死ねねえさ。
Of course I'm fine. Can't die till the castle falls. He rubbed a fist across his face, wiping away sweat and blood at the same time, then turned back to the shoulders. Soldiers.
前方軍は俺に続け！日暮れ前には城に攻めるぞ！
Alright, men. Follow me. We're going to attack the castle before dawn.
はい！
Yes, sir. Dawn came and Hijikata led the advanced guard in an attack on the Utsumuya castle itself. The previous cowardice now forgotten, his troops fell upon the castle's defenders with great vigor.
この調子だと大した苦労もなしに落とせちまいそうだな。
Then keep this up. Taking this castle might be easier than I thought. He looked at me with a slight grin just as Shimada appeared.
土方さん、伝令です。大広間の部隊が苦戦しているとのこと。
Hijikata, the men we sent to the banquet hall ran into trouble.
苦戦？腕の立つ兵でも嫌がるのか？
What? We haven't seen any real resistance so far.
詳しいことはわかりませんが、俺が様子を見に行ってきましょうか。
I don't know the details. Should I go see?
いや、俺が行ってくる。ここは頼んだぞ。
No, I'll go. I'm leaving you in charge here.
はい、わかりました。
Hijikata, what should I do?
ついてこい。一人で戦場をうろちょろされて、流れ弾にでも当たられちゃ夢見が悪い。
Come with me. Don't want you wandering around. Might get hit by a stray bullet or something. Okay. Even before we stepped into the banquet hall, I knew something was wrong. Inside, our men were dead on the floor, their bodies laid out with the spokes of a wheel, and at the hub of that wheel...
やれやれ。こんなところにまで来てやがったのか。
What are you doing here?
薩長と幕府が全面戦争やってるってのに、優雅にご旅行か？鬼ってのはよっぽど暇らしいな。
Decide you take a vacation. You do know there's a war out there, right? Or maybe you're just hiding out here, hoping you won't get hurt. The only two men still staying in the banquet hall weren't strangers. They're Kazama and Amagiri, the demons. Let's look at their outfits. Well, at least Kazama decided to wear Western clothes. Not so much Amagiri, though. Why are you here?
我々は薩摩藩の命で密書を届けに参りました。
We are acting under orders from the Satsuma domain. We are here to deliver a secret message.
まさか戦に巻き込まれるとは思いませんでしたがね。しかもその場にあなた方も居合わせていたとは。
We did not expect to be drawn to battle here, and we certainly did not expect to encounter you.
つまり、新政府の連中の使いっ走りをさせられてるってことか。仕事熱心だな。頭が下がるぜ。
Oh, I get it. When your government says bend over and you guys say how far, well, you sure are dedicated. You've got my respect.
まさかこんなに早くお前と相まみえることができるとは思わなかったぞ。土方とやら。
Well, I didn't think I'd see you again so soon, Hijikata, or whatever your name is. Kazama's eyes glittered like a pair of rubies.
顔にバツ印つけてもらったのがよっぽど嬉しかったのか？ そこまで喜んでもらえりゃ光栄だぜ。
Didn't think you were so excited to get your face all cut up again. Oh, don't worry. I'm happy to oblige.
ほざけ。
Damn you. Kazama ground his teeth and drew his sword, slung at his hip. It wasn't the sword he wore last time we had met. This one shone in a strange, disquieting way, almost as if it were simply generating its own light rather than reflecting what hid it. I found myself unable to look away.
お前を殺せばあの時の屈辱を果たすことができる。
Killing you will erase the humiliation I suffered at your hand.
今日以来散々俺たちの邪魔をしてきた異種返しをもさせてもらおう。
You and your minions have been a thorn in my side since Kyoto. Today, I will have my revenge.
天霧、お前は手を出すな。この男は俺の獲物だ。
Amagiri, you stay out of this. He's mine. Amagiri sighed and gave a minuscule shrug.
お好きになさるがいい。
As you wish. He padded to a corner and folded his arms in silence. Can I just go sit with Amagiri?
やれやれ。腕の一本でも切り落とされなきゃわかんねえみてえだな。
Huh. Guess the face wasn't enough, huh? Maybe if I take an arm this time you'll get the message. Oh, okay, hi. White wash across Hijikata's hair. Yeah, you can do that. He leapt across the room at Kazama like a bullet from a gun. Kazama blocked Hijikata's strike calmly and their blades rattled against one another. Then Kazama pushed back and Hijikata was thrown across the room.
逃がすか。
You're not getting away. In a blink of an eye, he leapt after his opponent and whipped out his sword in a quick slash. Hijikata brought up to the Kanashita at the last moment, catching Kazama's strike before it could hit him.
この間に比べ動きに精細がないな。人間相手の戦で疲れたか。まがいものとはいえ鬼のお前が。
You're slow. Your movement's like finesse. Don't tell me that killing humans has tired you out. I thought you said something last time about being a demon. Is he okay, or bloodlust kicking in? Hijikata's sword began to shake. Kazama's edged closer. He was right, though. Even with fury-enhanced speed and strength, Hijikata was slower than before. Less focused.
ああ、なるほど。まだ日没までには間があるからな。まがいものが動き回るには辛い時間か。
Ah, I see. The sun's still up, isn't it? And you don't like the sun much, do you? A cruel, arrogant grin spread across his face, filled with altogether too many teeth.
だが、お前に合わせて手を抜くような真似はせんぞ。
Well, don't worry. I won't go easy just because you're weak.
どんな相手にでも全力を尽くす。それが武士の作法とやらなのだろう。
After all, a samurai always gives all he can, no matter the situation. That is your code, isn't it?
くそったれ!
Damn you! Hijikata leapt backwards, but he wasn't fast enough. Kazama's sword licked out. Oh, Hijikata! The glowing blade traced a brilliant red line across his chest. Blood erupted and splattered onto the floor as Hijikata dropped to his knees. The front of his shirt began to turn red and drops of blood fell to the floor beneath him. But he'd be okay. He was a fury. Any moment now, the bleeding would stop. But it didn't. Agonizing seconds stretched on and still blood flowed from Hijikata's chest.
どうなってやがる?
What is this? Yeah, you can have that laugh. I'm good.
傷がいつまでも癒えぬのが下船か。まがいものの鬼よ。
What's the matter? Not healing like you should. Kazama's grin spread even wider, and he hefted his sword.
この刀は同時斬り安綱といってな。かの源頼光が主天童子という鬼を退治した時に使ったとされているものだ。
This sword is Yatsuna's demon slayer. It was used by the legendary Yorimitsu Minamoto to kill the demon known as Shutenji. The Shutenji. Shutendoji. I said that close enough as I could. It does indeed exist as a sword forged by the master smith Yatsuna during the Heian period. Legend says that killed Shutenji, the ruler of all demons. From the Heian period, he is the hero in several folk tales, and such as the defeat of the Shutenji at Oyomiya and the destruction of the Tsuchigumo. Wow. Mouthful to roll off my tongue.
我が風間家に代々伝わる品だが、本当に鬼を切ることができるのかを確かめた者はおらぬでな。
It's been passed down through the Kazama family for generations, but no one has ever thought to test it on a demon.
ちょうどいい機会と思い持ってきたまでだ。少なくともまがいものの鬼を退治することはできるようだな。
It seemed like an excellent chance to see what it could do. And what do you know? I guess you use it to put down a fake demon. Hijikata met Kazama's gloating smirk in kind.
まがいものの鬼相手にずいぶん大層なもの持ち出してくるじゃねえか。よっぽど必死なんだな。
Must be getting pretty desperate if you're willing to grab your family's magic sword. Really need something like that to take on a fake demon. He gave a taunting laugh, but Kazama's grin didn't even twitch.
俺に生涯最大の屈辱を与えた貴様を地獄へと送ることができるのならば、どんな手でも使う。
You humiliated me for the first time in my life. Nothing is too much. If it will send you to hell.
この刀で負わせた傷は塞がらんぞ。
Oh, such more. Sorry. Your abilities. Can't heal the wounds this sword gives you.
俺に勝つため羅刹になった。あの時の貴様の行動が今、すべて無に帰したというわけだ。
You became a fury to defeat me, but now that sacrifice means nothing.
Heh.
Heh. Hijikata prodded experimentally at the wound in his chest, then climbed slowly to his feet.
要するに切られなきゃいいだけだろう。羅刹になる前は当たり前にそうしてたもんだ。
So, tell me, if I've got this right, all I have to do is avoid getting cut by that thing. Hell, before I became the Fury, all I did was dodge swords. This will be easy.
どこまでも減らず口を叩くか。
Does your imprudence know no bounds? No, not really.
いいだろう。その強がりがいつまで続くか確かめてやる。
Fine. I'll put your short-lived defiance to the test. The Demon Slayer's blade flickered with blue-white light and almost seemed to shiver in concert with Kazama's murderous intent. Suddenly the air seemed thick and oppressive, and it was an effort just to breathe. And when I looked at Kazama, my skin began to crawl. Wow. His sword dropped towards Hijikata. He dodged the Demon Slayer, and I'll bet only barely, and brought his own sword up to strike back. But when the Kanashida arrived, Kazama had simply disappeared. No, I realized he hadn't disappeared. He is simply moving too fast for the eye to see. Hijikata seemed to be able to keep up, but the margin for error was slim and getting slimmer. Kazama dodged Hijikata's attack with ease, and his repose slammed into the other man's shoulder, tearing his shirt away to display a fresh, ragged wound.
いいぞ、その顔。どうすれば俺を殺せるか必死に考えている表情だな。
Good, good. Your mind's working desperately, trying to discover how you might kill me.
だが、俺が見たいのはその顔ではない。
Good, but I want to see more.
どうやっても俺を殺せない。そのことを悟った時の絶望の表情を見せろ。
I want to see your face when you finally realize that you cannot defeat me, and that you will die. What he said. Blood pouring from his wounds, but Hijikata brought his sword up in time to catch a demon slayer. But he had lost too much blood and his body was beginning to weaken. Kazuma overpowered him and Hijikata was thrown back. as if things hadn't gotten bad enough.
何
What the hell? The white had disappeared from Hijikata's hair.
そろそろ限界が近づいてきたか。
Oh, I gotta do this. Reach your limit, I see.
羅刹から人間の姿に戻っているぞ。虫けら以下の脆弱で哀れな生き物にな。
Even a false demon is better than this pathetic existence. You might as well be an insect. No, a worm. Kazama's maniacal laughter echoed through the room as he gloated over the nearly unconscious Hijikata.
さあ泣け、わめけ、未練がましく命乞いをしてみせろ。
No, I want you to hear you cry. Scream. Beg me for your life, maggot.
今日にいた頃から我らの邪魔をし続けた忌々しい新選組の名もろとも貴様を葬り去ってやる。
You and your filth have stood in my way ever since we met Kyoto. I'll kill you and erase the Shinsengumi. Hijikata's head twitched.
新選組を葬り去るだと
Erase the Shinsengumi? You? He had lost so much blood. I was amazed he was conscious, let alone lucid, but as I watched his hands dug into the floor mats like claws, almost as if he were keeping himself up through sheer force of will.
近藤さんと会えなくなっちまってから俺一人で抱えるには重くて仕方なかった荷物だけどよ。
After we left Kondo and the Shinsengumi fell on me, I felt like there was no way I could do all that by myself. I was just about ready to give it all up.
それでもてめえごときに葬られちまうと思うと虫唾が走るよな。
But now you say you want to get erase everything we did? I'll be goddamned if I'll let you destroy the Shinsengumi. Blood poured from his shoulder and his chest, but he still struggled to stand. Beside him was so powerful, so tragic, that I couldn't bear to watch. If he didn't stop, he would die. I had to do something. Stop, Kazama. I don't think he'd listen to me at all. Hijikata, no. Hijikata, no. You're hurt badly. If you use your fury powers... His eyes flickered at me for a moment, and I could see that his mind was already made up. Then they were gone, and he glared at Kazama.
てめえの命がどれだけ削られようとどうでもいいさ。
You really think I care how much of my future I've got to burn to get this bastard?
ただここでこいつに殺されてやるわけにはいかねえ。
I can't let him kill me here.
今まで命がけで作り上げてきたもんをこんなやつにこんな刀ごときにぶち壊されてたまるかよ。
I've risked my life for the Shinsengumi. I can't let this bastard and his damn sword get the best of me now.
その体で一体何ができるというのか。見苦しさ、ここに極まれりだな。
You're practically dead already. What do you intend to do? This charade is pathetic. Kazuma swung his sword again, almost lazily. Ow. Hijikata tried to lift up his kanashita in time to block, but his right hand refused to respond, and Kazuma's sword slammed into his right shoulder. He let out a strangled scream as his arm twitched in pain, his sword fumbling from his grasp. Hijikata's clothes were soaked in blood, and his skin was the color of paper. Only rage and pure willpower kept him upright, but even they were beginning to waver.
もう少し楽しませてもらえると思ったが、そろそろ別れの時のようだな。もう憎まれ口を叩く体力も残っていないか。
I'd hope you might give me a little more entertainment, but I suppose it's time for me to say goodbye now. Shame you don't have enough energy to talk. I miss that dry wit. Hijikata's shoulders shuddered with each labored breath, but still he glared at Kazuma.
どうした？刀を取らんのか？武士の意地とやらはどこに行ったんだ？
What's the matter? Can't hold your sword anymore. Where's that samurai spirit, He could barely even breathe, but still Hijikata raised his sword toward Kazama. The tip of the blade dipped and waved, and blood poured from his wounds, but still he stood. Please, I begged, just stop. Don't die. Just looking at him was enough to make me want to scream. Kazama lifted that cruel sword slick with Hijikata's blood and smiled.
待ちわびたぞ、この時を。俺に屈辱を与えた貴様をこの手で殺すことができる時をな。
Oh, how I've waited for this moment. At last I can kill you with my own hands and erase the humiliation you gave me. What the hell? Then suddenly an ear-splitting detonation tore through the building. The wood of the castle creaked and moaned, and I could smell something burning.
この匂い、もしや。
What is this? Suddenly distracted Kazama flicked his gaze around the room, looking for the source of the interruption.
火事だ！あいつら退却するとき、城に火を放ちやがったぞ！
Fire! Fire! Those cowardly son of bitches set this damn castle on fire when they ran.
火に巻かれちゃかなわねえ。さっさと逃げようぜ！
We're dead if it catches us. Come on, we have to get out of here. The fire spread quickly, and in mere moments the roar of it was deafening. Flames began to lick at the walls of the banquet hall. Black smoke poured into the room, rough and irritating in my throat. The flames leapt to the dry wood and paper of the door, and then the flammable mats covering the floor. Almost immediately the room was plunged into nigh unbearable heat, but neither Hijikata nor Kazama lowered his sword. Both men were waiting for a chance to strike. If either made the slightest wrong move, he would cut to ribbons by the other. But tension filled the air until it was thick as the acrid smoke. With a crackling roar and the moan of tortured wood, a section of the ceiling collapsed to the floor between them.
くっそ、崩れ始めたか。これ以上ここにいると我が身も危うい。
Damn it. This place is coming apart. If I stay any longer, I'll be in danger as well. He shoved the demon slayer back to his scarab angrily and glared across the flaming wreckage at Hijikata.
土方とやら、この場は預けてやる。勝負はまたの機会としよう。
Hiji, whatever your name is, I'll let you go. But this time, we'll finish this duel another day.
次こそは貴様の息の根を止めてやるからな。せいぜい楽しんでおくがいい。
And on that day, I'll finish what we started here. And you will die. With one last grotesque, inhuman smile, Kazama disappeared. Hijikata, are you alright? I ran to him. His face was twisted in pain and his skin looked like wax. Practically forgotten until now, Amagiri walked toward us from his corner, seemingly unconcerned with the flames around him.
今後、我々鬼の一族は倒幕勢力から手を引くつもりです。
The demon clans no longer intend to involve themselves in your governmental squabbles. Why are you so nice to us? He's like mean demon, but he's like, I will come over here and give you some information, by the way. And I'm gonna go. Bye. Hijikata looked at him confused. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper.
そりゃ、どうしてだ?
Why?
我々は薩摩藩から受けた恩をもう十分返したと思っています。
We owed favors to the Satsuma domain. We feel that we have now repaid those favors.
何より、そう遠くないうちに幕府は滅びます。我々が手を貸さずとも。
Besides, even you must know that the shogun will soon fall, regardless of whatever my kin and I do to speed that fall. His face curled up in a bitter smile.
ああ、そりゃ承知の上だ。
Yeah.
それでも沈みゆく船にこのまま乗り続けるつもりですか?
And yet you intend to remain aboard this sinking ship?
君たちの作り上げたものを評価せず、最悪の形で裏切り、放り捨てたのが徳川幕府だというのに。
The Tokugawa never gave your Shinsengumi the recognition it so deserved, and betrayed you when you needed them most. Why do you remain loyal? The truth of Amagiri's words drove a knife into Hijikata's heart, and I saw his face fall. He replied with a sad smile.
それでも、武士ってな、殿様のために戦うもんだろう。
Well, a samurai fights for the Lord no matter what, right?
俺が守りてえのは、 今江戸で蟄居してる慶喜さんでも、江戸城でも、幕府のお偉いさんでもねえ。
What I'm fighting for now isn't Yoshinobu or Edo Castle or any of those cowards that call themselves the shogunate's ministers.
俺たちの心の中にある幕府を、将軍を守るために生まれた新選組を守り抜きてんだ。
No. What we're fighting for now is the shogunate in here, in our hearts, and the Shinsengumi that we made to protect that.
重くてしょうがねえ荷物だが、近藤さんが戻ってくる前になくしちまうのは忍びねえ。
It's not easy, not by a long shot, but I feel like a real bastard if I let it die before Kondo comes back. Amagiri closed his eyes while Hijikata spoke. Now he stood silent for a moment, then slowly opened them.
もし風間が今後、君や彼女に関わり続けるのであれば、彼は鬼としての仁義を失うことになる。
If Kazama chooses to involve himself with either of you again, he will have betrayed the moral code that binds all of our kind.
一族の後ろ盾をなくし、はぐれ鬼となります。
He will no longer have support of the clans. He will be on his own.
おそらくそう遠くない未来、君たちの前に姿を現すと思いますが、それは我々には関わりのないこと。
I imagine this will be of little concern to him, but I ask you to bear in mind that when he next assaults you, that he is not doing so at the behest of the demon clans.
彼のことは君たちに任せます。
He is, I fear, your problem now. Then Amagiri turned and disappeared. He's kind of a nice guy, actually, despite how mean he was. At last, Hijikata collapsed, although from relief or simply exhaustion, I couldn't tell. Hijikata, are you okay? But he had passed out. No matter how much I shook him or cried his name, he refused to open his eyes. The fire had grown more intense, and I was beginning to sweat in earnest. If we didn't get out, and soon we would both burn to death, how could I move Hijikata, who was far too heavy for me to carry on my own?
副長! Yukimura君! どちらにいますか?
Commander! Yukimura, where are you? From down the hall came Shimada's voice. In that moment, it was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. Shimada, we're over here. Hijikata is... Moments later, Shimada burst through the door, scattering sparks and burning fragments across the room.
副長! しっかりしてください!
Commander? Hang on, I'll get you out of here. He just passed out a minute ago, but he's lost a lot of blood. If he doesn't get treated soon, he'll...
わかりました。俺が運んでいきます。君は俺の後ろをついてきてください。煙を絶対に吸わないようにして。
Right. Okay, I'll carry him. You'll have to follow behind me. Try not to inhale too much of the smoke. Without even waiting for my reply, Shimada hefted Hijikata onto his back and slid off at a jog. Okay. In the end, it didn't matter. The castle Hijikata had risked his own life to take was taken back by the Imperial Army only 4 days later, with nearly 20,000 soldiers from the Satsuma, Chosu, Ogaki, and Tottori domains. Allied with the shogunate at the Battle of Toba, Fushimi would eventually change sides and spearheaded the imperial attack. Thank you, Ogaki. And to Tottori domain. Although their lord was the older brother of the shogun Yoshinobu Tokugawa, they assisted the imperial army during the Battle of Toba Shimi and many subsequent battles. Oh, you guys suck. After the battle, Otori and the rest of the soldiers set out for Aizu. Hijikata had miraculously survived his ordeal, but he was by no means recovered. He drifted in and out of consciousness for days, hovering at death's door, was eventually sent away from the front to Nikko, where he could recover. Since we had arrived at Nikko, I busied myself doing my best to take care of him, as if most normal medication had little to no effect on him, and most of my nursing therefore consisted of fervently hoping that his natural strength and tenacity would bring him through. Fortunately, my prayers did pay off, and in time, his wounds began to heal, although they were made by Cosmo's demon slayer did not do so easily or quickly. I found myself thinking back to the battle of Utsunomiya. After watching Hijikata in battle, the same soldiers who had been too frightened to fight just minutes before had run to cross swords with the enemy. Afterwards, they had told him that it was an honor to fight alongside the Shinsengumi, for they were true samurai. Hijikata, you are the core of the Shinsengumi. Without you, there is no Shinsengumi. So please, you can't die. Several days later, I walked into Hijikata's room to change his bandage and was brought up short by what I saw. What'd you see? Hijikata, what are you doing? He'd recovered some, enough to move and speak without pain, but he was still confined to his bed. Oh, wow, he was really injured bad, wasn't he? Or at least, he was supposed to be. When I said you were healthy enough to get up, I didn't mean you were healthy enough to work.
そんなに長い時間じゃねえよ。これを書き終わったらすぐ休むさ。
It'll only take a minute. I'm going back to bed as soon as I finish this. His voice was as dismissive as it had always been. He flicked a hand in my direction as if to brush me off. You nearly died. You need to rest.
誰が死にかけだ。そこまでひどくねえよ。こんなのかすり傷だ。
Died? Me? That was nothing. Barely a scratch. Barely a scratch? Do you know how long I've been taking care of you? He continued to write, not even bothering to look up.
ああ、わかったわかった。
Fine, fine. I'd hoped for a little more contrition, but appeared I was going to have to take what I could get. Well, at least let me put this on you. You're going to catch a chill. Oh, look at him. Hey, and his little smile. It's so cute. And I'm like, feel like such a nerd right now. Yay. Okay. Oh, how do I put it back? Okay. As I spoke, I draped his old jacket across his shoulders.
お前のことだから、いらねえって言っても聞かねえんだろうな。
As if you'd listen if I didn't let you. I'm glad to see you understand how this works. And now as soon as you finish that, you're going straight back into bed. And don't even think about working behind my back. I've got my eye on you. At last, Hijikata turned and looked at me, his face quirked in a small, bitter smile.
ああ、世話をかけたな。
Alright, fine. Sorry for putting you through all that trouble. He was more polite than I expected. Huh? Had I heard wrong? I stared back at him intently.
お前と、そして島田にも礼を言っておかねえとな。感謝する。ありがとう。
Guess I should be thanking you and Shimada, huh? Well, I appreciate what you did. Thanks. Hijikata's thanks was rarely unaccompanied by cynicism, sarcasm, or outright derision, but this? What had come over him? He was strangely genuine.
どうした？なんかおかしなこと言ったか？
Something wrong? What? Did I say something funny? Oh, no, it's not that. It was more of I'd never seen Hijikata act so nice. Congrats, you're now a rare specimen. Later that night.
副長が意識を取り戻したって本当ですか？
So the commander's really back on his feet.
土方くんの怪我の調子が良くなったと聞いて寄らせてもらったよ。
I also heard he's improved, so I thought I'd stop by and pay him a visit. Good evening, Otori. Shimada. Hijikata is over. Before I could finish, Shimada dashed past me to Hijikata's side.
よかった。あの時は本当にどうなることかと。
I'm so glad you're all right, sir. For a while there, I didn't know what was going to happen. Shimada's eyes began to tear up, and he blinked rapidly to clear them.
大げさだな。あれっぽっちで死にゃしねえよ。
Come on, don't give me that. You really think I'd die so easy?
そうですよね。副長は何があっても絶対に死んだりしませんよね。
You're right. You'll never die, no matter what happens. He rubbed his hand across his face awkwardly, trying to brush away the tears that refused to stop forming.
土方くん、今日は言いたいことを言わせてもらうよ。
Hijikata, I'm going to be honest with you.
宇都宮城での君の戦いぶりは、まさに鬼神のごとしだった。
You fought like a demon back at Utsunomiya.
士気も大いに上がり、兵士たちは皆、君のことばかり噂しているよ。
Morale's through the roof. The whole army won't stop talking about you. But
君の戦い方は 参謀としては失格も失格。問題外だ。指揮官が最前線に出て行ってどうする？
Your actions were dangerous and idiotic. You are a commanding officer, not a soldier. You don't belong on the front line.
ちょっと大鳥さん、怪我が治ったばかりなんですから、いきなりそんなことを言わなくても。
Tori, he's only just recovered. Don't you think you're being a little harsh?
いいや言わせてくれ。今日ばかりは我慢できん。
Oh no, I'm going to give a piece of my mind. I won't let this slide.
いいかい、土方君。部隊の様式化というのは、兵に様式の軍服を着せ、銃を持たせればできるものではない。
Listen to me, Hijikata. Westernizing our troops isn't just about giving them guns and new clothes.
僕らは、戦力と人員を把握し、どう勝てるのかの戦術を考えなくてはいけない。闇雲に突っ込むだけでは、昔と何も変わってないんだよ。
We have to change how we think about war. We have to learn new tactics. The commanding officer charging out in the front of the army does not show that we are improving our strategy.
兵士を手足だとするならば、参謀は頭脳だ。頭脳が死んでしまっては、たとえ手足が残っていたとしても、戦争の遂行はできないんだ。
If the soldiers are the hands and feet, then the commanding officer is the head. If the head is removed, it doesn't matter how much the body remains. The war will be lost. And it hits him hard. Hijikata's eyes went wide. Tori continued oblivious, but I knew what Hijikata was thinking.
何をしているんですか、副長。あなたは頭で、俺は手足のはずでしょう。
Yamasaki. What are you doing, Commander? You're the mind of the Shinsengumi. Where are your arms and legs?
そんな風に我を忘れて敵陣に突っ込んでどうするんですか？
Why are you running off to face the enemy alone?
手足ならたとえなくなっても会話聞きます。
If you lose an arm or a leg, you can always replace it.
ですが頭がなくなってしまっては何もかもおしまいです。
But if you lose the head, you lose everything. The day Hijikata had become a fury, Yamazaki had said very nearly the same words to him.
なんか山崎にまた叱られてるみてえだな。
Almost feels like Yamazaki's come back to yell at me, huh? His words were to himself, and there was a faraway look in his eyes. Tori frowned, confused.
土方君、何がおかしいんだい？
Hey, Hijikata, what's so funny?
僕は真面目に話してるんだよ。僕も僕の部下も君をどれだけ心配したことか。
This is serious. Don't you understand how worried I was about you? Hell, how worried the whole army was about you? For a few moments, he simply stared at Tori. Normally, he would have fired back with sarcasm, or perhaps outright insults if he was in a bad enough mood. But this?
今日は何を言われても、凄んでも、意見を曲げるつもりはないからな。
Say what you want. I won't change my mind. It wasn't easy to seem threatening around someone like Hijikata, but he tried.
ああ、わかってるよ、おとりさん。迷惑かけちまってすまなかったな。
You're right, Tori. Sorry for worrying you. He followed his surprising genuine apology with a similarly surprising bow.
Eh?
What? Tori had clearly prepared himself for a variety of reactions from Hijikata, but this had apparently not been one of them. For several moments, he simply stood there, too flabbergasted to speak.
島田もすまなかったな。俺をここまで運んできてくれたのはお前なんだろう。
My apologies to you too, Shimada. I hear you had to carry me all the way here.
いえ、副長のためでしたらあれくらい。
Oh, no, it was nothing. Anything for you, sir. Shimada seemed just as confused as Tori by Hijikata's sudden change. I didn't understand it either, but there was no denying that he was different. Woohoo, we made it to chapter 8. Alright guys, that wraps up chapter 7 at least, and I'm so glad. That was a long chapter. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, July. Okay. And if you hear a weird moaning, that is my dog. I'm so sorry. I cannot stop him. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Let me know what you thought about this chapter, which is probably going to be split up into, I guess, 3 videos. I gave you 1 video, so by the looks of it, it's going to be probably 3, because otherwise it'll take forever. So I'll see you guys later. Bye. Kaze out.